for the Cardinals, remember last year when they won the national title? Through 21 games, they were 17-4. Guess what? They're 17-4 right now, and last year around this time is when Louisville got really hot, and they went to the national championship, and eventually they won it. And with that, we welcome you courtside. Brooke Weisbrod, Adam Amin, 17-point deficit. They overcome that on Thursday night against Cincinnati, take the lead in the second, but the Cardinals got shut down in the final 5 minutes, ended up losing by 3. Rick Pitino was not happy. This might be a scary Louisville team tonight.
I would expect it to be a scary Louisville team. They closed shoot-around this morning, so we didn't get to see what they worked on. But I know Rick Pitino was very unhappy with his team's defensive effort. He felt like they didn't close things out down the stretch. I think you're going to see much better defense, and UCF's going to have to get it.
Well, let's dive into what Louisville does well and what they do so well when they're at their best. Let's see if they can get back to this tonight.
What they're best at is what UCF has been struggling with all season long, giving up points off turnovers. The Louisville Cardinals average 10 steals a game, and they love to trap at times when it's least expected. They create so many points off turnovers, and they do it in a blitz. It's almost like it's a contagious defensive energy when these guys get out in the open floor and score in transition. They love to feed off the energy of each other, blocking shots, stealing, team defense. This basketball team gets better. And as you said, Adam, 17-4 at this point in the season. Haven't beaten a ranked team, but still, they get better and better each game.
And they did very well against UCF the first time around. They beat the Knights by 25 points in Orlando. Isaiah Sykes, if you haven't seen him, he does everything. Leads the team in points, in rebounds, in assists. He's a big body that Louisville is going to have to contain tonight. Calvin Newell needs to get going, though, for UCF. Look at Louisville's starting lineup. Wayne Blackshear is in the lineup. He's been coming off the bench in conference play, but Rick Pitino told us today that he wants to match up with UCF, do a little different things on defense, and they are going to move Wayne Blackshear to the 4 spot tonight. So they're going to go a little bit smaller and hope they can rebound. A very good rebounding team in UCF. As always, a great atmosphere at the Yum Center, where Louisville suffered just its 9th loss in 4 years on Thursday night. 61-9 all-time in this building, and we get set to go for the American Conference game. Stephon Blair, Montrezl Harrell in the center circle, ready to go. Rozier with a save to Hancock. Louisville has it to start the night. Here's Russ Smith. Good start. The Cardinals started 3 of 15 against Cincinnati. Rick Pitino wants a hot start tonight.
He needs good offense in order to set up his press. This is where he feels like the strength of his team comes from, scoring and pressing.
Here's Brandon Goodwin, the freshman, rejected by Montrezl Harrell, who had a big game on Thursday night against Cincinnati.
His timing in the help side defense is one of the things that's improved most about him this season. He's a guy that's got NBA potential the way he blocks shots. You got to feel secure about risking it if you're a guard. Russ Smith can gamble knowing he's got Harrell behind him to swat those kind of shots.
Luke Hancock starts on Isaiah Sykes tonight. Sykes has an NBA body at the guard position, and he'll draw the foul. Donnie Jones is in his 4th season as the head coach at UCF, a former assistant for Billy Donovan at Florida, then took over at Marshall as the head coach. 3 straight 20-win campaigns for UCF. Meanwhile, Rick Pitino, the now Hall of Famer, enshrined in September, won his 2nd national title back in April. Blackshear was the one who picked up the foul. That's a concern for Louisville. Blackshear picked up 2 quick fouls on Thursday and was ineffective. Meanwhile, Sykes gets UCF on the board to start the night, averaging 16 points a ball game. Louisville is the only team in the country that's in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Harrell, good defense that time by Stephon Blair.
Blair's got a body to match up with Harrell. He's a big, strong guy, and entered the starting lineup just a few games ago. The UCF, they have struggled the last 5 games to score in the 50s.
Rozier, the freshman. Another tip try. There's Harrell's big body. He got it knocked away, but it will stay with Louisville with 32 on the shot clock. UCF, as Brooke mentioned, struggling to score in American Conference play. They've lost 5 straight games, but they've been very close in all of these games. They're coming off a 10-point loss to Memphis on Wednesday. That game was tied at the half. Smith, 2 for 2.
Oh, boy.
Brooke, it might be one of those nights. Sykes Could not corral. Louisville forces an early turnover. Here comes Rusdiculous. He's feeling it early, though. He did not have a very good game against Cincinnati offensively Thursday. He's coming out firing.
Yeah, just 6 of 15 shooting for Russ Smith. And you had to know a better start was in line for Rick Pitino's club, too, because against Cincinnati, I thought the Bearcats came out and figuratively threw that first punch. Came in here not afraid to play. There was a couple of big-time dunks. Shaq Thomas got one off early in the game, and I thought that just gave the Cincinnati all the momentum. And so you said, yeah, is Louisville going to come out here angry to play? You see it. They seem focused. Their help side defense been good so far. Ton of energy on the floor.
Brandon Goodwin picks up the foul. This is what Louisville has seen over the course of the season. 17-0 against unranked teams. Their 4 losses have been to very good teams: North Carolina, Kentucky, Memphis, and Cincinnati. And North Carolina, granted, was early in the season. They were ranked at the time, but they've gotten outscored in the paint in those games. Defensive rebounding has been an issue, Rick Pitino told us, for his team. UCF's a very good offensive rebounding team. Here's Blackshear. Out to Rozier. Blackshear the offensive rebound. Hancock pumps. That takes it in. Early 7-point lead for the Cardinals.
One of the things I really enjoy about watching Luke Hancock play is how he kind of glides to the basket. There was nothing quick about that motion, but you see how effective it was.
There is Sykes. He's not going to shoot much from outside, and Blackshear forces him into a traveling violation. It's a dead ball turnover, so Louisville can't run off of it, but turnovers are going to be something to keep an eye out tonight, especially for UCF. The Knights played very well in the first half against Memphis. Could not make a shot in the second half, it felt like. They've gone to a smaller lineup to try to mix things up, and they've been shifting around their starters as of late, too. Donnie Jones, much like Rick Pitino, trying to find the right combo on the floor. Smith. It'll be a blocking foul against Isaiah Sykes.
Well, both guys hitting the deck really hard here. Smith, I thought he was trying to go up for the dunk there. And Stephon Blair is a guy, he wants you to challenge him to dunk on him. But Russ Smith would enjoy challenging, getting the challenge, too. And he's one of the more, he's just so gutsy. You know, he's willing to give up his body at any point.
And he's in attack mode, seemingly, already tonight. He's got 7 of the 9 for Louisville. Taking early shots, taking it to the rim already. (10-1) Cardinals. Smith has 8 of the 10, and with that make, they're allowed to set up their pressure. UCF has turned it over on 2 of its last 3 possessions already. Not a good sign early for the Knights. These 2 teams met on New Year's Eve. It was only a 9-point game at halftime. Louisville won by 25. Sykes, the floater, won't go. A defensive rebound for Louisville, and now trying to push the pace.
And you see the Knights early on already deferring to Sykes to try and say, we need you to get involved in the offense for us to feel comfortable. Good ball fake.
Harrell strong to the rim. He's got his first 2 coming up. 18 against Cincinnati. An 11-point lead nearly 4 minutes in.
It was a good move because it was a ball fake, but he got control of his body before he went back up, took the contact, didn't get called for a foul. It could have easily put his shoulder down, and Blair could have stepped in position for the charge. Williams
hits a field goal, first one of the night for UCF. Matt Williams is making his 3rd straight start. And UCF will have the basketball on the other side. So after a slow start on Thursday night against Cincinnati, red hot for the Cardinals. They're up by 9. Exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former. Section 110 is ready tonight. They're going to take a look down the field ESPNU's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. Gorgeous night along the Ohio River. Great night in Louisville as well. And the Cardinals off to a very good start, 12-3 to open up this game. They've already had a 9-0 run tonight, and that's where Louisville is at its best. They can blitz you very quickly. That's what got them back into the game against Cincinnati. A 14-0 second half run. They eventually took a 3-point lead. They got shut down, though, in the final 5 minutes, and Cincinnati made some big free throws down the stretch. What we didn't see on Thursday night in big enough spurts, we're seeing early tonight for Rick Pitino's team.
I think instant improvement for the Cardinals. That's something you can always expect. Rick Pitino game to game. If he doesn't like something one game, he's going to correct it and do it right away.
And we saw it. Wayne Blackshear making the start tonight. They went smaller in the starting lineup tonight just to try to match up a little better, and Blackshear's still out there on the floor. There's a three from the corner for Williams, who's off to a cold start. He gets an offensive rebound. Daquan Walker, the freshman, is in for UCF. And Blair in traffic got bumped, so it'll be a Louisville foul. Montrezl Harrell on the foul. It'll be his first. And Williams cold to start the night, so you just saw Tristan Spurlock, who's now coming off the bench to try to give him a little punch. He's a double-figure scorer for UCF, averaging 11 a game. Nearly a 5 count. Blackshear tipped it away. UCF gets to reset. Again, if you haven't seen Isaiah Sykes play, UCF leans on him so much. Just to try to set a tone. Now Blackshear on Sykes. Sykes is a left-hander. He uses it against Harrell. Tipped by Blair and last touch by Harrell, so UCF will keep the possession here. Give me a key that you think UCF has to execute on offense to try to keep up with the pace that Louisville likes to play with.
I tell you, the number one thing is shot selection, and they're going to run a lot of isolation sets for Isaiah Sykes, maybe bring a high ball screen up like you did with Blair there. But coming off that, I haven't seen the rest of the guys move enough.
Okay.
They're not standing, but they're not cutting and screening and moving, and you need those things if the primary option of Sykes coming off that screen, if the shot's not open or if he can't get to the rim, you have to have guys constantly relocating.
Chris Jones got called for that last Louisville foul.
And the 4 shots as bad as a turnover.
Right. Here's Newell. He has been very cold in American Conference games. Sykes the rebound. Tipped out, and here's Smith against Walker. Switches hands in midair and finishes. Russ Smith already has 10.
Just the fact that he's got enough time to switch hands in the air, do what he wants. I thought he was going back for the tomahawk dunk.
UCF not taking great shots early. This is an open look for Spurlock. He can shoot it from outside despite the fact that he's 6'8", 34% from outside.
Shooting about 40% of the year from 3.
Smith, the floater.
That's just too easy.
He got right into the lane. It took barely any time for him to get in. Here's Sykes, and Smith knocked it away. Sykes recoils, can't finish at the rim. UCF's going to need those buckets if they want to stay in this game. Smith for Harrell! Oh my! I got the crowd revved up on its feet. Another game-changing, momentum-shifting play for Harrell. And now Blackshear to Hancock. This feels like a blitz right now, and Donnie Jones calls time.
Russ Smith is playing at his highest level tonight. You see how at ease he is? He's just gliding out there. He's not even thinking right now. He's just flat out feeling the basketball, and a beautiful pass, finish, dunk from Harrell. And then this last play here from Hancock, A little reverse action. It seems like everything is working well for the Cardinals based on their energy level, the defense, creating off turnovers. That's what I was talking about when I mentioned the contagious defensive energy in the open. This is exactly what it's all about.
I know you just saw 35,000 plus in Syracuse. I get it. The crowd's always good. They're first in the country in attendance. Louisville is third in the country, by the way, here at the Yum Center in attendance. And they're up in the tops of the NCAA and a lot of other things, mostly having to do with defense. Opponents' points per game, they hold them down. Turnover margin, they're up there. Scoring margin, they lead the nation. And they do that with moments like we just saw, a quick blitz for Louisville to take the advantage up to 12. Sykes inside. These shots just aren't falling. Van Treese and Blair fighting for it. Possession arrow is at UCF's side. They'll keep possession. Well, this is a big game in the ACC. I know you just saw Syracuse Duke. Virginia and Pitt are the other two teams in the top four right now. Virginia's by itself, or at least was coming into the day. They got to go to a tough place to take on Pittsburgh. Then UCLA and Oregon State. Bruins trying to bounce back after a loss against Oregon, a win, I should say, on the road at Oregon the other night. A huge win for the Bruins.
Yeah, we're not sure that UVA Pitt game is going to get out of the 40s, maybe the 50s.
I just saw Virginia on Tuesday. You saw them earlier in the year. We've both seen Pitt, two really good defensive teams.
Actually, if you're a fan of defense, I'm a big fan of defense. I always enjoy watching those two teams kind of play.
Shot clock down to 8. Sykes has the much bigger Harrell on him here. Steps back. Tough shot. Blair tipped it. Hancock runs it down. Nothing going down for UCF.
Just more one-on-one ball.
It's like everybody's looking at Sykes to make something happen all the time. Harrell shifted.
That's a next level move right there. Felt comfortable with the drop step, just a soft hook. I think he's enjoying the challenge tonight of going up against a big guy like Stephon Blair. 6'9", 250 pounds. And Harrell seems like he's up for the challenge every night.
Yeah.
I like how much he likes the physicalness of the game, of inside. He's not afraid of it.
He played like it on Thursday night. A very physical performance by Harrell against Cincinnati. There's Spurlock off the curl. Good defense by Rozier. Shot clock's at 1. That'll count. Ends up being short. Shot clock violation and everything going Cardinal red right now. A 14-point lead. That blitz, we just saw it.
Russ Smith feeling it tonight from 3 from anywhere. He's creating for his teammates. Yeah, it's about to get rusticulous up in here.
Well, certain guys go into the Hall of Fame, and you understand why. Rick Pitino is one of those guys. You understand exactly why he's now in the Hall of Fame, part of the Naismith class in September, and it's because those guys make the adjustment from game to game. It's not just a broad stroke perspective. They're inside, and the things that Rick Pitino talked to us about earlier today, they're kind of coming true. Basically everything he told us, going smaller, increasing pressure, we're seeing it.
I think that's the one thing I really liked about our conversation with him earlier, is about in this many years of time, I mean, you're going to have trial and error. You're going to have different things you're going to have to figure out along the way. And he's willing to change within the game, within the season, to find out what works with that team. And think about all the adjustments Louisville's had to make this year. Shane Bohannon no longer on the team. Kevin Ware not coming back to full strength as we expected to see him this season. So I feel like this Louisville team is constantly having to adjust. But now going to a 4-guard lineup, I think, could make them an even stronger defensive team.
Well, a lot of Hall of Fame coaches, as we talked about. And you saw a couple of them earlier today. Coach K, you see, actually with Bobby Knight, his mentor. But Coach K, a tough atmosphere to go into, but the winningest coach in Division I history. Larry Brown in the same conference. Larry Brown, Rick Pitino won't face off till March. You just saw Jim Boeheim, second all-time in Division I history in wins, get a huge overtime win at home against Duke. Roy Williams' team starting to look a little better now as we get to the midpoint of ACC play. They got a win against NC State today. And, of course, we just mentioned Rick Pitino, 61 years of age, enshrined into the Hall of Fame. Along, of course, with the namesake of the floor here at the Yum Center, Denny Crum, who led Louisville to 2 national titles. And now Rick Pitino adding one to the Louisville banners. In 2013, it was his second title. Of course, he won one in '96 with Kentucky, the only coach to win 2 national titles at 2 different universities. 14-point lead for Louisville, 8 minutes in. There's Harrell. There's the double from McCrory. Back to Jones. Good look. Good position, though, by Spurlock. He boxed out Van Treese, and here comes UCF. Sykes is 0 of 6. UCF is 2 of 14 from the floor.
And if you're Donnie Jones, what you're hoping is have guys in the game that want to take a shot right now. Casey Wilson could be one of those guys. Absolutely,
he gets the 2 there. He's a good 3-point shooter who's been cold in conference play. He takes it into the rim that time. Big screen by Van Treese, and Sykes is slow to get up. It's a traveling violation against Louisville. At least Clarence Armstrong just signaled for one. I'm not sure if the officials wanted to blow the whistle because of Sykes going down or if it was the travel. I think they'll keep the travel. And here's the play a moment ago.
Well, I'm really surprised that he didn't catch him out of the corner of his eyes. And if that's McCrory, hey, and you see those 2 guys are talking right now. He's probably telling them, hey, my bad for not calling the screen out.
You got to say, hey, screen. Yeah, coming up.
Believe me, I would get up in somebody's face. During my playing days, if you didn't call out a screen for me and I ran into that, you'd hear about it. Well, you'd probably hear about it from my coach first, and then you'd hear about it from me.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me at all. Sykes to the bench. And again, he is off to a cold start. Has just 1 point from the foul line. And it was not a foul against Van Treese. It was a traveling violation right at the end of the play after Sykes was already on the deck.
Yeah, it was a solid screen.
And a traveling violation on Spurlock as Hancock came over to blitz. This is what Louisville's defense does when you get to midcourt. They like to blitz to the sideline.
Either the sideline or the half-court line, because basically it acts as an extra defender for you. So as soon as you cross, especially anytime picks up their dribble, and Cincinnati does that really well too. They try and bait you into going over toward the sideline or the half-court line so they can get a free trap out of it.
All right, so Sykes back into the ball game. Good to see. Just needed a quick breather. He's all right. Here's a 3 from Blackshear. Offensive rebound, Rozier. Inside Harrell. The muscle from Wilson helped defend, and here comes UCF. It just turned it over on 4 straight trips. Great defense getting back by Mango Mathieu. That got knocked away by Sykes. His length helped defend that play, but 27 on the shot clock for Louisville.
Talking to Coach Pitino before the game, too, about Steven Van Treese. I love his footwork. I love his effort out there on the floor. No points, but about 7 or 8 rebounds against Cincinnati. So you like him out there, but they said he doesn't look for his shot. He's not looking at the basket.
Smith with the left hand got that one to roll.
Russ Smith's always looking at the basket, so he overcompensates for it.
More gliding to the rim that time. But what a start for Russ Smith. Here's Sykes. The left-hander gets it to go, and a foul. He'll go to the line after his first field goal. And ESPN's Journey to the Tourney continues on Thursday at 9 on ESPN. Big Pac-12 battle. Aaron Gordon, #1 Arizona. They're in action tonight against Cal. Meanwhile, Oregon coming off a tough home loss against UCLA. Those two will square off on Thursday night as Sykes finishes off the 3-point play.
Rick Pitino said he thinks Syracuse, Wichita State, and Arizona are the 3 real NCAA contenders, and his team is just in the field with everybody else. Isn't that interesting?
Smith. Wilson the rebound.
I'd put Louisville up there as a serious contender to repeat.
Crowd thought McCrory got away with a walk. He's able to find Walker for the 2, and now Rick Pitino is upset at his defense. And specifically the freshman Terry Rozier. He got into Rozier right away. And he's going after Smith here too.
There's been a couple possessions that UCF's been able to get behind Louisville's defense. McCrory beat the guys down the floor even though it didn't result in a point. It was a block shot for Louisville, but any lacks of effort defensively, Rick Pitino's not having it, especially after what happened against Cincinnati.
Well, Rick Pitino, the Hall of Famer, again, not satisfied despite the fact that his team's up by 9. His 681 career wins. We said he's the only coach to win 2 national titles at 2 different schools. He's the only coach to take 3 different schools to the NCAA Final Four. Only head coach to win an NCAA title with, again, Kentucky and Louisville. Here's Blackshear. Got it knocked away, but it's because there was a foul on Spurlock. Virginia transfer, 6'8", who's coming in off the bench now. Montrezl Harrell will come back in for Louisville, and Van Treese will head to the bench. Harrell off to a good start. Lead has been as large as 14 in the opening 10.5 minutes for the Cardinals. Rozier, the fadeaway. There's Sykes with a rebound to start the break. Behind the back, slithering inside, and Harrell deterred defensively. Rozier, the pitch to Blackshear. Tipped into the hands of Harrell. Off to Mathiang, and he got it knocked away by Sykes. Sykes is always everywhere, all the time, offense and defense.
Yeah, he gives you relentless energy. I mean, there's a reason he's the only player in the American to rank top 15 in points, rebounds, assists, steals. He gives you a lot of energy. He's a big guard, one of the best rebounding guards in the country. He feels comfortable playing in the post. They said he was going to use him as a 4 today.
Here's Smith. Teardrop didn't go down, but he does get fouled by Casey Wilson. Wilson trying to get going on the offensive end, ends up getting tagged with his first foul. 4 fouls on both Louisville and UCF. And it's been mostly Russ Smith, already a dozen points. He had 16 against Cincinnati, but it took him 15 shots to get there. He's got 13 now on 4 of 7 shooting. He's become a better passer this year. Obviously, Peyton Siva going to the NBA, went to the Detroit Pistons. Today, by the way, Siva got reassigned to Fort Wayne in the D-League. But Smith doesn't have his running mate, so he's stepped up, become a better passer, and he's still scoring at a high clip.
I think once you step up and understand that you're running this team. I mean, last year it was certainly Russ's team whenever he wanted it, but Peyton Siva was the captain of that ship and just kept a really calm, good energy with this team. And Russ Smith having more maturity, a young freshman on the floor, and Rozier as a point guard. He came into this game actually 43 assists to just 11 turnovers. So you got to feel comfortable if you're Rick Pitino with a freshman managing the offense that way.
Now, Rozier was a high recruited point guard. Freshman from Youngstown, Ohio. Hancock stepped in front of Spurlock, who gets it back, and Harrell is going to get picked up for that second foul. So Montrezl Harrell now has 2. And Spurlock will head to the free throw line. And just to go back to the point that we were making, look at his assist numbers. Now, granted, Siva had a lot of assists as well, so he's going to pick some of those up. But when he's on the floor, he's constantly looking for somebody now, while also being in attack mode. So the assist numbers are up. The points per game are up, or right around where they have been in his career.
That's what's making him an elite player. You know, good players can score, but great players can understand when they need to score, when their teammates need to score. And I think he's starting to understand the difference of when it's time for him to take over and when he has to get his teammates involved. And he came out, shot a couple threes, opened things up, but good alley-oop pass to Harrell. get him involved. He doesn't try to do too much.
At times, Rick Pitino has said his decision-making has been poor, but you take the high. You take the highs because the highs are so good with the lows.
Right about that.
Blackshear, strong drive, and he's the 4th Cardinal to score. And that allows Louisville to set up that pressure again. Here's Williams. Newell's running the point. He has to get going. He's been struggling since conference play started. Williams steps in. Rebound to Blackshear. Harrell to Smith. Intercepted by Newell. 3-on-3. Spurlock 4-3. Got it. Big shot for Tristan Spurlock. His second 3. He's got 8, and it's an 8-point game. And Louisville is going to use another timeout here. A 10-4 run for the Cardinals to get back within 8. Now Rick Pitino going right into his team. Not pleased with the effort right now. When we're done, you'll see the team that's in a 3-way tie for the top spot in the Big West. That's UC Irvine. They've got a 7'6" player named Mamadou Njai that you should probably watch, if only because you're not going to see a lot of 7'6" players over the course of the season. Then, of course, great doubleheader on Super Bowl Sunday. Before all the football, Virginia Pitt, huge game in the ACC, UCLA, Oregon State as well in the Pac-12.
It's been a really good day of basketball. Overtime games, Syracuse and Duke. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, UCF, Donnie Jones's team getting back into it here, and experience against youth. Donnie Jones is only 47, very young considering the coaching profession these days. And meanwhile, Rick Pitino at 61 years of age has seen it all, done it all, has been to the NBA. They both have a common thread, though, of course, in Billy Donovan. Rick Pitino coached that 1987 Providence team, which Donovan was such a big part of. Meanwhile, Donnie Jones was a former assistant for Billy Donovan at Florida before he got the Marshall job. Putting pressure on Smith. Spurlock forces the turnover and jams it in, and it's a 12-4 run to get back within 6. UCF, 5 of its last 8 after a very cold start.
And taking a couple risks on defense. You're going to get the steal from Smith. Sometimes if you double team him, he turns the ball over, well, at least the last 5 games, at least 4 times a game. You can catch him at times, but you got to be willing to score, and that's what the Knights are doing well, is just punishing Louisville when they get a chance now to score. And climbing back in this game.
Hancock misses the 3. Rebound Newell. Outlet McCrory. Hancock defending, and a foul. How about this? UCF has been down by as many as 14 in this game, but it's a 12-4 run led by Tristan Spurlock. The transfer from Virginia already has 10. This is a 2-score game in Kentucky.
He's not alone. The entire section up here is 306. As also won the prizes courtesy of the Kentucky Lottery. Kentucky Lottery is a proud sponsor of Louisville Athletics. Kentucky Lottery, somebody's going to win. Might as well be you. All right, Coach fans, it's now time for the Texas Roadhouse to be adults. Stand up, make some noise, and go back to those Cardinals. Texas Roadhouse, legendary food.
UCF has battled back in this ballgame. They're in it in the first half against a big boy, just like they have been against a lot of very good teams this year. Let's get to know the UCF Knights. Maybe you haven't seen a ton of them over the course of the season. Of course, we mentioned their great head coach, Donnie Jones. Took over for Kirk Spiraw, who had a very successful 17-year stretch, including a handful of NCAA tournament appearances, their last coming in 2005. Isaiah Sykes is their stud, but Calvin Newell is a very good defensive player, actually leads the American Conference in steals. And this is UCF with a very large enrollment, nearly 60,000, second largest public school in the country, behind, you said, Arizona State, I believe, right?
About 95% sure.
Okay.
Might have to Google that one.
It's a large school, large campus, great new court, if you have seen that, CFE Arena. Brooke and I will actually be there on Wednesday night for their next game against USF. Got that blacktop court going in Orlando. That'll be fun to see. And right now, UCF, which had turned it over and missed shots early, is making shots, and they haven't turned the ball over lately during this 12-4 run. But one of the biggest problems for UCF all year is their free throw shooting. One of the worst in the country. Third worst in the nation at 60%. So far, they are 5 of 7 as McCrory gets 1 of 2. 5-point game. Van Treese, Smith, Blackshear, Hancock on the floor, along with Rozier. Smith lost it on the way up, and it'll be 23 to shoot for the Cardinals.
Russ Smith trying to cut back door. I mean, you've got guards that try to pressure the lanes. It's that release. It's that quick jab step fake and go back door. But UCF help side defense was there. And so the last maybe 5-7 minutes of this game, their team defense has gotten better. Rotations, guys are talking more. I think it came off of that screen that Sykes didn't get called. It was after that, Donnie Jones had a chance to regroup with his guys. And it seems like since then they're playing harder on defense and smarter on offense.
Newell, Spurlock, McCrory, Sykes, and Casey Wilson, the 5 out there for UCF with 6 to go in the first. Here's Spurlock. Nobody with white jerseys underneath for the rebound. And here comes Smith. Nearly lost his footing and just flipped it out to avoid a traveling violation. Rozier saved it to Blackshear. Wayne got it knocked away on the inside by Newell. UCF forces another Louisville turnover. Newell will settle it down. The senior from Philadelphia, the transfer from Oklahoma. Finds Wilson. He is really struggling in conference games from 3. He did not touch it, though. That was Hancock last to touch. And UCF again takes over. Rick Pitino continues to just pace the sideline, trying to get his team up right now.
Well, Casey Wilson on that 3 did not follow through enough at all. And here's the play here as Wilson gets in the stands. Good save.
Nice job there.
Woo. You know that little kid was scared for a minute. It's like, oh boy,
that's
here
a large
comes.
man coming right at me.
Exactly.
He's all right.
You got a good seat, dude.
Yeah.
That's what you want to happen if you're a little kid. Are you kidding me?
You're right there. You get to see it all. Here is Sykes. Now he's got Rozier on him. Blair is back in the game. He checked in for McCrory. This is what they want. Sykes against a smaller guard in Rozier. Wilson doubled on the baseline. Did he double dribble? He did. A moment ago, this was on the sidelines. Rick Pitino, Russ Smith. That's his senior. That's his captain. Still, he's got to have him dialed into this game.
Every game. You know, there's no plays off for trying to repeat as national champion. Even in a game that you start strong, you don't want to see your guys let up on what you just tried to prove a big point to off of that Cincinnati game.
Hancock was last to touch, but Casey Wilson is going to get hit with a foul. That's going to be the second personal foul against Casey Wilson. You could see his frustration there. UCF basically had to stop. They got called for the 5th foul. Donnie Jones trying to calm Wilson down. The Cardinals in a cold stretch right now, nearly 4 minutes without a field goal.
Well, plus Wilson's frustrated from that double dribble call. He
That's
didn't
right,
feel
too.
like
Good point.
He didn't feel like he double dribbled. So there's 2 plays right in a row.
Blackshear pulls up. Left it short. The drop continues for the Cardinals. Walker nearly traveled, but he kept his feet. Here comes Newell. The pitch to Sykes. He's got Blackshear on him now. Walker, he traveled with the basketball, and UCF trying to maintain their within 5 after trailing by as many as 14. On the other side of this break, our buddy Rich Hollenberg is in studio. He'll have an update on what's going on today. I know you're feeling pretty good right about now, Rich Hollenberg, after that Syracuse win over Duke in overtime. An unreal game at the Carrier Dome with a record crowd. But you're going to see Duke back in action on ESPNU Tuesday night. And Rich mentioned Kentucky as well. Ole Miss is playing really good right now, maybe under the radar in the SEC. You'll see him take on Julius Randle in Kentucky, then Wake Forest and Jabari Parker in Duke. 7-9, part of Super Tuesday on ESPNU. Two of the best freshmen in the country. Going to see them in each game.
And two freshmen that, in my opinion, have NBA bodies at this point.
Sure.
And Jabari Parker, I thought, coming in, had the most talent with a great body. Julius Randle had the biggest body, but still developing a little more raw talent kind of guys. But those are two of the best. And, you know, as quickly as I've heard in the last couple of weeks, let's just hand the Player of the Year trophy over to Doug McDermott. Like, hold on just a minute. Let's see the rest of this conference play out. He's been playing some amazing basketball, but there's some superstars out there who deserve some love.
CJ Fair probably after what he did today.
Career high.
Here's Hancock shifting moves in the air, and Hancock has 6. That ends the nearly 4.5-minute field goal drought for the Cardinals, who lead it by 7. Let's see how Rick Pitino feels about his team defense. UCF has worked itself back into this ball game. They trail by as many as 14. Newell got it knocked away. Good play by Chris Jones.
Wow. Interesting decision from Newell. He didn't take the screen.
Jones the floater. No. Van Treese, what he does best. Rebound the ball. Jones a 3. Off the side of the backboard. I was surprised Van Treese immediately kicked it out, but then again, that's something that Rick Pitino told us. I wish he'd go up with the basketball a little more often. Sykes lost it. What
a problem to have. You have to beg your guy to try and score the basketball. They said he just doesn't look at the rim. He'll get the ball rebound, but he looks right out, and that's a problem. If another team's scouting that, they know they don't have to guard Van Treese. You can use your 5th defender to go double team somebody else.
Van Treese just picked up his first foul, which sends Sykes to the line. Isaiah Sykes does just about everything well except shoot free throws. 49.5% for this 6'6", 220-pound senior who looks like he could play in the NBA right now. Body-wise and his skill set is very impressive. This is his bugaboo. It remains a 7-point game. Smith still on the bench. Chris Jones runs the point. Outstanding junior college player who transferred to Louisville this year. Blitz Hancock. There's the double team from Sykes and Blair, and a UCF foul is called by Clarence Armstrong. He's going to get Blair for his first. Had it been on Sykes, it would have been his second. That was the last foul to give for UCF, so Louisville will shoot free throws rest of this first half. There's the blitz on Jones, defended by Daquan Walker. He comes away with a steal. Euro step inside, and a foul is called on Rozier. And UCF's defense continues to put a little more pressure on UCF, which needs some points from somebody besides just Sykes. Let's go inside the play.
And the freebies come at the free throw line. Balance, eyes, elbow, form. But you see at the top of his release, everything looks good here. But when he releases the ball, it's almost like he's pushing it. He's pushing it instead of letting his elbow go up and extend. It's just a natural shot. And then his left hand actually curved a little bit toward the left, almost toward the Louisville bench. So he's not getting straight rotation on it, and he's not getting enough arc under his shot.
Does it surprise you sometimes that guys who shoot relatively well from the floor have such issues at the foul line?
Yeah, because it's all based on the same form. I mean, I shot a free throw the same way I shot a jump shot.
Nice backdoor. Hancock the reverse, and a Blair foul will be his second. Good look by Blackshear from the wing that time.
The Cardinals have looked to go backdoor a couple times because they know UCF is pressuring the lanes, trying to scoot up a little more. So you bait into the pass, and then you go backdoor. A good bounce pass. Luke Hancock, underrated as an athlete.
Yep.
Guy can leap. He can get up there.
And a very good free throw shooter at 86%. He had a big second half against Cincinnati, although nobody had a very good first half for Louisville, which mustered just 20 points against the Bearcats. They have 28 tonight. UCF put up 39 against Memphis in their game on Wednesday in the first half. They have just 23 so far. Hancock with 7. Louisville leads by 6. Tim Henderson is in the game for Louisville. That's 15 in white. Good defense by Blackshear. Recovery by Spurlock. Lead to the rim, and he throws it down. The lead is 4. What a first half for Tristan Spurlock.
But the Knights can just find instances where they can make plays like that. It doesn't have to be off a set play. The high screen didn't work once again, but the play broke down, and Spurlock found a way to capitalize on it. Louisville not paying attention, and Spurlock able to get down the lane and dunk it.
He was the spark for the run that got UCF back in the game. Right now, after trailing by 14, they're down 4. Jones got cut off. Henderson for 3. The guy plays 7 minutes a game off the bench, but he can shoot it. He buries a 3. Sykes out of control, and he traveled with a basketball.
Here's that broken play we're talking about for UCF. Off the ball screen doesn't work, but Spurlock, just take the ball and do something with it. That's all Donnie Jones wants out of the bench. He wants guys that are willing to go in there, and if it has to be a creative play that doesn't come from anything, fine. Just get to the rim, trying to attack. Be willing to take those shots. Tristan Spurlock picking up tonight, and Sykes still feeling a little bit, to me, like he's got to do all the work out there. He'd be better off giving up the ball, moving a little more without it. Trying to come off a couple screens, get off a good curl screen, and get in there and try and dunk.
Eugene McCrory picks up his first foul with 46.7 to go in the first. So it'll be 1-1 for Louisville, and Chris Jones at the foul line. Chris Jones, the junior from Memphis, junior college transfer from Florida. Missed 3 games due to that strained muscle on his right side, kind of retweaked it already previous injury. And came back against Cincinnati. Didn't shoot all that well, but gave him 23 minutes. Junior College Player of the Year last season. A big-time get for Rick Pitino, along with Anton Gill and Terry Rozier and Okoye Gao, that great recruiting class that Rick Pitino brought in this year.
And Chris Jones just 3 for 11 against Cincinnati, but I like the fact that he's out 3 games and he's willing to come in and shoot the ball right away.
It's about an 11.5-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. There's Newell, and Henderson will get called for a foul. It'll be a couple of shots now. And Calvin Newell will head to the free throw line, where he has had his struggles this year as well. Calvin Newell played 36 games for Oklahoma before transferring to UCF. Spurlock comes off, and Brandon Goodwin, the freshman, back in. 12 points for Spurlock off the bench. Former starter now giving him some punch off the pine and got UCF back into this ball game. It's a 7-point lead for Louisville. The shot clock is off. Hancock, Blackshear, Van Treese, Henderson, and Jones try to get a good look for Rick Pitino here to close the first. They led 22-8, 14-point lead at one point in this first half. There is a muted crowd right now here in Louisville, hoping for something big. Here's Jones on the deck. The kick to Blackshear, a 3.
From Rick Pitino nodding his head as he walks to the line, just like he drew it up.
10-point lead at the halftime break for the Louisville Cardinals. They led by as many as college basketball on ESPNU from beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. And we welcome you back to the American Conference on ESPN. The game of runs in the first half. Louisville led 22-8. UCF a 12-4 run. Louisville an 8-2 run to close the half. Brooke Weisbrod, Adam Amin. And the reason Louisville got off to such a hot start, it was Russ Nicholas in here for a little while. Russ Smith.
First 5 minutes, he gets 10 points, led him in 3-point shooting, just comes out ready to shoot. I think he was ready for a fresh start after that Cincinnati game. But he sat the last 5.5 minutes of the game. He's got 14 points in the first half. It was the start that Louisville needed. Russ Smith coming out and creating throughout a whole different array of offensive skills. But UCF found their comfort zone, and their comfort zone came in the form of Tristan Spurlock. He had a couple of threes, but these were the important plays that gave the Knights more confidence to attack the rim, to try and get in the paint. They just need guys out there that can score, and you see Spurlock shooting okay. The rest of the team, though, just 4 of 20 from the floor.
Hancock chipped in 7 as well for Louisville, which had 18 points in the paint. This has been the issue for UCF. They hang around in the first half. They hang around for chunks of the second. Then they just seemingly run out of gas. That's been the problem for UCF in American Conference play. Blackshear ends the first half with a 3, starts the second half with another. Blackshear has 8 points. Louisville has made its last 3 3-pointers after a cold stretch. It was the 14-0 run in the second half against Cincinnati for Louisville. They got them back into the ball game, and eventually they got a lead after trailing by 17 Thursday night. They led by as many as 14 in the first half. Rozier the steal. All the way home. 5-0 spurt, a 13-2 run. And Donnie Jones calls a very quick second half timeout. This has been UCF's issue all year, and this has been what Louisville has been good at all year long. 15-point lead.
Enjoy your favorite entree. 3 cheese chips and queso and regular mountain drink for just $10. Home game day offer is either where you're good out here at St. Cars. With this tasty offer, visit Keoba.com and on over to the secondary of Keoba.
Kentucky, the site. ESPN News College Basketball. Louisville on a 13-2 run since the end of the first half. They jump back out by 15. Quick timeout from UCF, and this has been the issue for Donnie Jones' team all year. Look at the breakdown. Great job by our crew to break it down for you. Trail by 4 on average at halftime. It gets worse as halves go on. So they run out of gas. They don't have the offense. They don't necessarily have the bodies, maybe, to withstand some of these bigger teams. And Isaiah Sykes just hasn't gotten going tonight. Spurlock wave out the basket. There was a foul on the floor against Louisville.
Well,
it's on Luke Hancock, bro.
UCF doesn't have enough depth. They don't have enough scorers, and then therefore it's not been one certain thing. Donnie Jones says down the stretch it's been a number of different issues that have caused these close games to turn out in losses. And combine that with the fact that they're not a good free throw shooting team. In fact, they're one of the worst in the country. You're not going to win close games if you're not a good free throw shooting team.
When it comes down to close out.
Yeah.
All these things have kind of combined to turn into a 5-game losing streak for UCF. They lost to Louisville to open up the American, as Chris Jones will get called for a foul. Then they beat Temple by 2 points. Since then, they've lost 5 consecutive ball games, and they've been close in a lot of those.
When this team, UCF, is at their best, they pass the ball really well. And Donnie Jones calls it hockey passing. And keep teams moving, keep defenses guessing, go inside and out, one side of the floor to the other. But too many times, it's been too many one-on-one isolation plays. One guy's got the ball, everybody else is standing.
Noel with a chance at an and one. Able to muscle his way inside. Get that foul on Rozier.
Still finding a way to get inside the paint. Newell is strong, moves, and taking contact, and I'm sure that's what Donnie Jones addressed at halftime. Hey guys, let's at least try and get to the paint, not settle on 3-point shots. We haven't shot well so far, with the exception of Tristan Spurlock, who's 2 of 4 from 3.
Rozier just picked up his 3rd. He's off the floor. Hancock, Smith, Harrell, who had 2 fouls in the first half, so he spent some time on the bench. Blackshear and Jones. Jones, the floater, no. There's Spurlock. He was the hot hand for UCF. That one was short. Trying to avoid the foul. Newell was able to reach in and poke it away, but he was last to touch. He's arguing with Clarence Armstrong that Jones got a fingertip on it, but Louisville ball. Cardinals have not lost back-to-back home conference games in about 2 years. Let's go back to the Big East. The last time this team lost 2 straight conference games at KFC Yum Center. Now again, they're 61-9 all-time in this building. This is the 4th year of this facility. One of the better ones, at least in terms of atmosphere when it's really going. Ask anybody that was here on Thursday night, they'll say it's the loudest it's ever been. Harrell. Blackshear goes up, nearly snared it, but it ends up with Sykes. And Hancock will get a foul on the open floor, his 3rd. Sunday, ESPNU, great college basketball doubleheader. Super Bowl Sunday before you hit the football and get the hoops going. Virginia and Pittsburgh special edition of Sunday Night Basketball at 12:30. Tough game for UVA to go on the road, take on that Oakland Zoo, and then UCLA coming off a big road win against Oregon takes on Oregon State. 12:30 and 2:30 on ESPNU, and watch ESPN. So now Hancock has picked up his 3rd. He's off the floor. Walker being hassled by Blackshear. Nearly a 5 count. And there it is.
Sykes and Walker are both trying to plead for a call, but there's foul there. That was just flat out terrific. Terrific defense. Look how much he's moving his feet. Quick feet, staying in front of the defender, just poking They're trying to get the ball loose, deflections. Blackshear's really played well tonight, and I think Pitino's trying to find shots for him. That play to end the game where he shot that three and to start it. Those were both seemingly two called plays specifically for Blackshear.
He's got 5 rebounds tonight as well. Jones, the floater off the glass. Got it to go. First bucket of the night for Jones, back up to a 14-point lead. And Smith will get called for his first foul in the backcourt. Already, the Cardinals are starting to rack up team foul after team foul. They've got 5 already here in this second half. Although, this goes back to your point, UCF with its free throw struggles, can they take advantage if they eventually get to the line for the bonus? Sykes picked up by Van Treese on the switch. He takes him to the rim and draws another foul. This, I believe, will be on the floor. No, they're going to say 2 shots here for Sykes. I thought maybe the contact was beforehand. Instead, it will be 2 shots for Sykes. Van Treese with his second. Rick Pitino doesn't like that call from Tom O'Neill.
The go-to move for Sykes has been to kind of back down with his right hand and then spin using his left, his dominant arm, to get to the left side of the bucket. Every time that Louisville has forced him to go right a few more than, let's say, 3 to 5 dribbles,
sure,
he starts to panic a little bit. He starts to hesitate, pick his dribble up, and that defense, you send Blackshear with him and try and double team that. I think they can get a few turnovers out of it.
Look at this, 12 of 16 at the line tonight for UCF. Oh, set play for Blackshear, Brooke. You're absolutely right. They're gunning for him right now. But a foul will be called against UCF on Sykes, his second. I think you nailed it on the head. Blackshear again, who made the start tonight. He'd been coming off the bench just about the entire conference season. He's rebounded the ball well. He's had some big shots. And Smith gets bumped on the floor. Wave out the basket. That'll be on McCrory. It's his second foul. Now this is funny. We happened to talk to Rick Pitino about the foul calls and maybe the freedom of movement a little bit, how it's been going for him. And at times he's surprised by how close games have been called. And at times it's been the complete opposite when you go to a different conference. It's been interesting to see that this year.
I think he feels like there just hasn't been the level of consistency based on this new rule. And he said that it was like this in the NBA years ago. They wanted to have teams score over 100 points a game. He said that first year it was just awful
bad
officiating.
basketball, yeah.
It was inconsistent. So he said it's getting there. And to know that eventually it did get there, and now NBA teams are scoring. I mean, that's the end in sight to all these freedom of movement rules. And my biggest pet peeve with it is it creates too many free throws and makes the game a little bit boring. I mean, I don't want to sit here and watch free throws the whole game, but once teams adjust, you start seeing a lot more offense.
Now 11 turnovers for UCF. Man, that's another dead ball turnover, but they've already got 3 giveaways in the first 4 minutes of this second half. And that's Spurlock for his second. So the foul fest continues, and we'll take a timeout. 15:59 for the second. It's a 12-point lead for Louisville.
We hope it's a historic day in our program.
I have decided to attend the University of Ole Miss.
We're very pleased with our class.
Really feel like we had a great day.
And Andrew Brown has done it again. Peppers, separation, and a catch, and a touchdown. Leonard Fournette, are you kidding me? Wednesday, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, maybe the biggest day of the year for college football fans in the offseason. National Signing Day. 11 hours of coverage will be at a dozen different campuses. Live player announcement, up-to-the-minute class rankings starting at 8. There is the new head coach of the Louisville Cardinals football team. It's Bobby Petrino after Charlie Strong gets the job at Texas. Bobby Petrino, who led Louisville to an Orange Bowl championship in 2007, returns to man the Louisville Cardinal football team. He, along with George O'Leary, the fine head coach for UCF, which led the Knights to a bowl game victory in the BCS this year in the Fiesta Bowl. Both of them, you'll see them during our signing day coverage from their campuses. It starts at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Looking forward to it. Both Louisville and UCF have a couple of good quarterbacks leaving, a couple of good quarterbacks coming in. Tyler Harris for UCF, Reggie Bonifant for Louisville. Keep an eye out for those names. Harrell's second effort, blocked from behind by Spurlock, and Sykes has it. Still a 12-point game with a lot of time to go. Here's Newell at the top, all the way inside. Left hand no. Russ Smith on the push. Tried to go behind the back. He traveled with the basketball, never had full possession there. Full control of that, so he ends up turning it over. And Henderson will come in for Chris Jones.
It's strange to see how fast Russ Smith started this game, how well he shot the ball. First 5 minutes of the game, get 10 points.
Yeah.
He's gone into a shell a little bit since then. We've seen some interaction with him and Coach Pitino on the bench. His facial expression hasn't changed out there. He doesn't look frustrated, but his play has shown otherwise.
Blackshear stays out there on Sykes. McCrory sets that screen. Now Sykes has the bigger Harrell on him. Sykes goes the other way with his right hand, blocked by Harrell. Spurlock is there and one. Spurlock's got 14, and he's got a chance to cut it back to single digits for the first time in the second.
Spurlock's done a good job of looking at the rim at any opportunity he can. So he's following the basketball on an offensive rebound. This is why the Knights are one of the best rebounding teams in the conference here, or are the best rebounding team.
Offensive rebounding,
You know, when you don't make shots, well, it leads to a lot of offensive rebounds, but can you get them and can you put them back in is the question. And then can you make them pay from the free throw line?
Tristan Spurlock having a big game coming off the bench the last three now. He's got it back down to 9. Backdoor Blackshear from Henderson. Blackshear into double figures with 10. And another, as Brooke pointed out, set play for Blackshear. Sykes got past Blackshear, kick to Spurlock. Big shot for the Virginia transfer. A big step-up game for Tristan Spurlock, who's got 18 rather now.
The last time he played Louisville was just 1 for 6 from the floor. 0-3 from 3, so a good revenge game here for Spurlock. You know, we expected Sykes to take the bulk of the shots this evening, but it's been good for the Knights to have somebody else to step up and be willing to take those big shots. The three driving to the rim just creates some kind of confidence going to the bucket.
And Brooks, something to point out here now. Sykes at the 13:52 mark has picked up his third in an 8-point game. Donnie Jones is going to leave him out there with the media timeout at under 12 minutes.
3 seconds, 3 seconds.
Here's Harrell over McCrory, right into the hands of Van Treese. First points of the night for the senior from Indy.
If he would have passed that ball out,
You got to take him out of the game.
yanked him. Better shoot that ball.
I said Van Treese has a tendency to give up shots when he's right at the rim. Not that time. Newell, head of steam, all the way into Harrell, just couldn't finish. And there's a big rebound by Van Treese. Smith hassled by Newell. Turns the corner against Spurlock. Smith still hasn't taken a shot here in the second half. Looking for other guys right now. Harrell got fouled by Spurlock, and after the play, Harrell went after Spurlock, and now a technical foul is called against UCF. Take another look at this. Maybe Harrell thought that there was a shove by Spurlock at the end there, kind of letting him lay past him, and Harrell took a couple of steps after him. And I gotta guess Spurlock said something.
I didn't see him say anything. I didn't see what would warrant a reaction from Harrell, but you're right. Maybe he said something, just that extra push on him going down. But I mean, Harrell's a much bigger guy.
Mike Sanzier and Clarence Armstrong are both over at the scorers table right now. They're taking a look at this again. So there's the foul on Spurlock. You saw Mike Sanzier immediately call for that.
Well, we didn't say anything.
So Spurlock's still silent there. The foul has already been called for the reach by his right shoulder by Spurlock's right arm. That's when Sanzier's hands went up for the call. And then right there you saw the tee when they were in kind of that little pile right in the middle of the lane, and Harrell had already separated at that point. Again, flagrant 1 or 2, always good to refresh you on this every time it does come up. What these two fouls warrant, and vulgar conduct perhaps could be grounds for a flagrant 2. Both will result in 2 shots in the ball. Of course, though, a flagrant 2 would be grounds for ejection as well. So Mike Sanzier, Tom O'Neill, and then Clarence Armstrong, our officiating crew. All discussing it. We just got word that it will be a flagrant 1 against Tristan Spurlock. So he picks up the personal, then compounds it with a technical. So that'll be 4 now on Tristan Spurlock suddenly. And now Russ Smith gets 2 shots. And if we don't get a word from Clarence Armstrong or Mike Sanzier or Tom O'Neill now, we'll try to get your word to exactly what they saw or maybe heard on that possession to warrant a flagrant 1 call against Tristan Spurlock. So again, the personal was his 3rd. Then he picks up the tech. So he's got 4 on him now. Smith splits the pair. His first points since about the 9-minute mark of the first half. He's got 15, and Louisville is up by 11. UCF might need to settle down here. Smith in attack mode. Left-handed.
He's so good at turning the corner, isn't he? That was good defense there by McCory, trying to stay in front of him, but Smith able to get so much lower, and a good response there by Daquan Walker.
Harrell beats everybody. He leaves it in. What's the foul? And Isaiah Sykes has picked up his 4th.
Transition scoring from Louisville, and Harrell beating everybody down the floor. Reward the big guy with his hustle. Get him the ball. And a silly foul by Sykes to bump him. Still was able to get a clean look at the basket. I mean,
if you're going to foul, you got to foul them.
Yeah, make it count. You know, don't let him get the shot off.
Well, Harrell has his first 2 points of the second. So this is an issue, Brooke. Both Spurlock and Sykes have 4 fouls each, and there's still over 12.5 to go in this game.
You got guys out there that aren't used to being the man, to taking the shot. It's a good time for Newell to step up and do it. We've seen a couple times in this second half.
They gave him the continuation on that. I was a little surprised. I think you were too.
A little early.
So Smith picks up his 2nd foul. And Newell will go to the line with a chance at 3. He's got a quick 5 points in the second half. This has been a very weird 6 minutes of basketball. And after all of that, it's a 10-point game. Newell gambled on Henderson, who drives into him and draws the foul.
Henderson had a hand on his hip that entire drive. I'm surprised the whistle didn't get blown early. Look, Newell's got his hand on his hip the whole way down there. And Blair falls on top of him pretty much, but the foul's going to be on Newell.
2 shots for number 15, Henderson.
Again, 7 minutes a game off the bench. He hit a 3 late in the first half. A senior from Louisville. He's a fan favorite. And he flies in and gets the offensive rebound. Smith a 3. Retreats the foul. The energy's back. Who wants to take the shot? Walker. Blair the offensive rebound. You've been asking that a lot since Sykes went off the floor, since foul trouble's been an issue for UCF. Who wants to be the man right now?
Right now it's got to be Newell, and I think he's doing the right thing by taking any open shot he can get. And that is just creativity at its best.
19 for Russ Smith.
Making adjustments in the air on the fly. That is all Russ Smith. That's his game.
So here is Newell. Walker, the freshman, confident shooting right now. Wilson gets hit by Henderson. Tim Henderson flying and giving him good minutes off the bench right now, but he gets tagged with the foul. Russ trying to get going. Well, this is what Stephen Van Treese can add to the game on the glass. And Brooke got excited about this. I think so did about 20,000 in Louisville tonight for that one. For about 130 years it's been there. The Louisville Slugger Bat Company. We're about 12 days from pitchers and catchers reporting. That means Florida. That means Arizona. That means some sunshine. That's a sight for sore eyes for you and me who live in Chicago right now.
Kidding.
Hey, how about this Saturday today, B? It's upset Saturday where we're tagging it right now. Michigan State goes down, non-conference game. Bears go on the road, knock off a top 10 team in the Big 12. UMass drops a game to a St. Joe's team that keeps winning games at the buzzer, it feels like. You and I are going to be in Dallas next week. Big tussle. Cincinnati, SMU. SMU is an NCAA tournament team right now. They beat Memphis. That score, a 15-point game, that was like a 20, 25-point game at one point.
It's this time of year where sometimes you get these really kooky conference games where it's a 20-point game, and I mean, just think about what Texas did to Kansas today.
Oh, it was a blowout. It was a dominant blowout.
It's it's weird basketball sometimes. You get in these scoring droughts. You can't figure out anything. And SMU, holding teams to 61 points a game. And obviously Memphis getting more than that today, but now they're figuring out how to score. When you think of SMU, you think of defense, man-to-man, Larry Brown, knowing every situation. I don't think anybody expected SMU to be nearly as good as they have been this season.
They're tied with Memphis right now at 6-3. Meanwhile, Louisville comes in at 6-2. UCF has dropped 5 in a row. They're 1-6. The Cardinals coming off that loss on Thursday night at home to Cincinnati. UCF was in it against Memphis for about 35 minutes on Wednesday night, then ended up losing by 10. Clarence Armstrong just called a foul against Matt Williams, and he came over during the timeout and let us know exactly what happened to Tristan Spurlock, who you see there, who picked up his 3rd personal, then a technical foul, so he's got 4. It was, as we kind of assumed, some choice words after the little tussle with Montrezl Harrell. He said some things you're not supposed to say. And Clarence Armstrong and the officiating crew got him for a technical foul. And that's why he's on the bench right now with 4. Isaiah Sykes has 4 for UCF as well. Hancock his first points of the second half. So again, right now the question for UCF, as we pointed out, who's going to be the man? Who's going to take the shots? Who's going to be confident out there? Walker lost it, lost his feet. Smith got it. Wilson chasing. Travel. Feels like one of those stretches right now could be starting up for Louisville.
I don't know about you, but when I watch Russ Smith in the open floor, sometimes I just hold my breath. I just wait for something great to happen. And look at what an explosive jumper he is. 2 feet, tomahawk. I mean, this is a little guy out there.
6 feet.
6 feet, 165 pounds. Making explosive plays like that. Just there's no situation you can put him in where he's not going to figure out a way to score. He's never uncomfortable. He can handle double team, triple team, whatever it is. He finds a way to get out of it. And as you mentioned, has been a bigger distributor. I mean, obviously great on defense, a history that'll never go away as long as you're playing for Rick Pitino.
Right. He's closing in on 3rd all-time. Of course, Peyton Siva, who went to the NBA and the all-time steals leader in Louisville history. And Smith has really stepped up into that leadership role. I just remember Rick Pitino talking about him after that 5 overtime loss in last February against Notre Dame, and just saying, well, some of the shots that he took, you wonder going, Russ, what are you doing? But you take the highs with those lows because the highs do so much to energize his team.
I remember that game. The one thing I didn't like about his shot selection was that he waited too long. He waited till it was like 5 or 4 before he made his move.
Right.
I always say start it around 10 or between 10 and 8. So if there's a missed shot, you can get a rebound and put it back.
Daquan Walker has 8. It's a 14-point game. Here's Hancock for 3. Long rebound to Harrell. Couldn't corral it, though. Here's Newell. Looking for Wilson in the open floor. Extra pass, Williams, a 3. Big shot for Matt Williams. He and Wilson have been kind of cold lately. They need to get going. They might be the best option for UCF right now with Sykes and Spurlock out.
And they're 3-point shooters, so as long as they're willing to pull, if they can hit a couple shots, they are so within reach of this game. A couple of stops. And they've got to have better team defense. Their 2 best scorers on the bench.
Here's Smith. Starting to get into one of those modes right now. Maintaining the double-digit lead. Louisville by 13 inside of 9 to go. Russ Smith, 25 points on 12 field goal attempts. Way more efficient than you saw on Thursday night. Wilson has the taller Harrell on him. Tough to get a shot off right now. Double comes. Blair saves it. Here's Blair. And a foul against Louisville. Tim Henderson picks up his 3rd foul. You said it. Henderson, good minutes off the bench tonight for Louisville. All right, Stephon Blair, 52% at the line. You make some shots for your team. which is actually shot very well at the line tonight. When we're done, we'll take it to UC Irvine and Cal Poly. UC Irvine, one of the 3 teams tied for first in the Big West. Virginia Pitt, UCLA, Oregon State before the Super Bowl tomorrow. How about that? Blair buries 2 free throws, keeps it to an 11-point game within striking distance with 8:20 left. A lot of credit to UCF's free throw shooting today. Hancock fouled by Williams, his second.
That's foul number 12 now. Williams, second personal. Both teams with a double bonus. Shooting 2 for Louisville, number 11.
Luke Hancock, the transfer from George Mason. Got to over 1,000 points in his college career earlier this season. A little more of that coming at George Mason than at Louisville, but the most outstanding player of last year's Final Four.
Don't forget the homecoming king.
On the
Don't leave
homecoming
that out.
How do you forget that? It always seems like a Louisville basketball player wins their homecoming king crown. I think Peyton Siba won it. Hancock won it.
Kyle Curick.
Curick was the other one. You're right. Yep. Trying to get Matt Williams free. He'll step back for 3. Harrell flies in for the rebound. Well, these guys for UCF just look gassed right now. It's been these 5 just about for the stretch since Spurlock picked up his 4th, and Sykes picked up his 4th. Ventrease. We're not going to see it often, but Ventrease scores. Usually a pretty fundamental play. That was good looking.
I think Ventrease is deceptively quick. He's athletic. He's really light on his feet. He can beat defenders getting to the rim, and he's a good contester of shots. He blocks and rebounds for you. His development, he can start to look at the rim a little more, look for his shots. It gives him an added element, scoring in the paint. And at the post, when Rick Pitino wanted to go 4 guards, if he can score, it gives him the option that he doesn't have to go 4 guards.
Ventrease slapped that one out, but Williams able to square it for UCF, which is down by a dozen with inside of 7 to go. Sykes and Spurlock are both sitting at the scorer's table right now. Both have 4 fouls. Here's Wilson for 3. They needed it, and they got it. Wilson and Williams have both hit big threes here these last few minutes, and UCF is within 9 with 6.5 to go.
This has been a game that Louisville has not been able to put away yet. They've scored in spurts, get turnovers, but then offensively, they start to get a little stagnant. They don't run their motion anymore. They settle for 3s, quick shots. UCF managing to stay in this game.
The 1980 NCAA championship banner is up there. The guy who led them there was Denny Crum. They honored him as well as a couple of big-time players. There's Darrell Griffith, part of that 1980 NCAA championship team, and the guy who led him to 2 national titles, Denny Crum, in 1980 and 86. ESPN News exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. ESPN News exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Gorgeous shot of the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. UCF is staying in this game. They've cut it to 9 without Sykes and without Spurlock on the floor, who each had 4 fouls. This is what we talked about. UCF has been in games against SMU, against Cincinnati, against Louisville for a half, against Memphis for about 30 to 35 minutes. Can they stay in this game with Sykes with 4, with Spurlock with 4, and needing to find offense?
You're asking a lot. And think about the teams that you just said. Those teams get better defensively as games wear on. Ask UC what happened Thursday night. They got better defensively as games go on. So not only are your legs tired, now you got your 2 best offensive players in foul trouble. You just don't have enough movement on offense. Too many times the problem with UCF and their offense has been guys sitting on the perimeter going one-on-one instead of going through a motion or just finding ways to get and attack the rim. They have a high ball screen, and that's been one of their few options tonight, and guys have created in second or third chances after that, and a lot of times in broken plays, and that's really what's kept UCF in this game. It hasn't been any one thing consistently. A couple of different scores, some 3 balls. Just kind of a weird game where you don't really get a lot of rhythm from either team, and a ton of whistles and a ton of free throws.
And Smith at the line is having a very solid game tonight with 25. Brooks right, game of runs in the first half. It's been choppy with all the fouls here in the second. Both teams are in the double bonus the rest of the way. And how about Jones gets an offensive rebound off 2 free throw misses by Smith. Hancock against Spurlock. Spurlock didn't want to pick up that 5th. Smith, the extra pass to Jones. Hancock flashes. A 3. Here's Sykes, got to hurry. Just a couple of seconds to get it over midcourt, and Donnie Jones will use a timeout.
30-second timeout.
Louisville's pressure gets to UCF there. Meanwhile, Louisville has ballooned its lead back up to double digits. It's a 12-point game, and Russ Smith, really quick start to this game, had a long stretch, end of the first, start of the second, where he didn't score, and he's back into attack mode now.
He's done a good job at picking his spots and when his team has needed points on the board. And he's got takeover ability anytime he wants to. Anytime Russ wants to shoot, he can do it. One of the things he also does well is steal the basketball. He's great on defense, and this gives the team confidence out there. It gives them energy. That last offensive possession, Luke Hancock could have shot a 3 early in the possession. He didn't. He had a little patience and waited, let the offense develop a little bit. You see tonight, Russ Smith doing a bulk of the scoring here for the Louisville Cardinals. It's been spurty here and there, but nothing consistent.
His career high is 36. He had that against North Carolina earlier this season, albeit in a loss. Hancock a steal. He got fouled and Atlantic +1. And again, Brooke Weisbrod, I ask you, if you're going to foul, why not foul?
I don't know, and why pass the ball when he's so close to the passing lane? I mean, it just doesn't make much sense. That's a really poor decision. Hancock had...
He was on his hip.
Yeah, he had position. And Sykes was on his heels, almost falling back. His momentum was totally taking him backwards.
Just like that, after they cut it to 9 at 68-59.
And look at Jones keeping him on the right side of the floor.
Sykes is a lefty, don't forget. Everybody's played really solid defense for the most part on Isaiah Sykes. A very impressive score. Newell trying to get going. Harrell the rebound. Smith behind the back, floats it up, and just let the finger roll short. This is about, what do they call it? $1 million move, 5-cent finish. Wilson, transition 3. And he buries it. Boy, that just may be enough to keep UCF alive in this game.
Russ Smith clutched his fist and put him right to his eyes. He felt so bad about missing that layup that led to the 3. The move looked good, but that's a flash of an old Russ Smith, trying to make a move too hard than what it needs to be. He could have gotten a lot closer to the rim. I'll tell you what, I bet he's going to make up for it within a possession or 2.
Jones handles the point. Picked up by Blair on that switch. Sykes the rebound. Sykes to Blair. The hook wouldn't fall. It was right there. Just refused to drop. And Louisville might be a bucket or two away from ending this game. Jones, open three. I don't know if we can have a dagger with 4 minutes, but that kind of took the air out of UCF for a moment. Sykes got one to roll home.
They are fighting, aren't they?
Absolutely. Remember, this is a Louisville team that blew UCF out in the second half down in Orlando. UCF has come to one of the tougher places in the country to play and is hung with Louisville. And Louisville hasn't put UCF away.
It's surprising to see 77 points on the board here, too. I mean, think about how much energy they expended. Louisville did Thursday night against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
UCF, both teams look to me like that wall every team hits about the end of January, beginning of February. You're about halfway through your conference schedule. Your legs are tired, your body hurts. And you're trying to find a way to just struggle through games. It's a tough stretch right now for a lot of teams, mentally, physically, whatever.
Here's Wilson. We had Blackshear closing in on him. Ends up airmailing. Hancock inside to Harrell. Got the two. Double figures for Harrell. 15-point game with 2:40 to go. Blair stepping out from 17. Wilson the rebound. A foul against Louisville on the floor, and that'll take us to a timeout with 2.5 to go. Louisville hasn't put UCF away, but maybe this is the day. Get you out to San Luis Obispo as soon as we're done in Louisville, where the Cardinals have a 15-point lead. And Louisville at times have just come up with the little stretches that turn into big stretches, that turn into eventually blowouts at times. 3 runs of 8-0 or better. This is what Louisville does about as well as any team. And Coach Krzyzewski got a little bit of a look at that last year. Remember in the national semifinals when Louisville was able to beat Duke, or not the national semis, in the tournament, the Elite Eight. When Duke lost to Louisville, this was a quote that Mike Krzyzewski talked about.
I thought we had a chance there, and then, boom. That's what they do to teams. They can boom you, and it's been a huge T-shirt boom, I hear.
That's right.
About here comes the boom, and it's so hard to prepare for that. You can't simulate that kind of speed and that kind of defensive pressure and intensity that Rick Pitino makes his guys do every day in practice.
Right.
So much, in fact, he closed practice off to us this morning in shoot-around so that he could re-emphasize what he wants from his team defensively.
Credit to Casey Wilson, who had a solid second half. He's been struggling shooting the ball, and he hit a couple of threes. He's at the line. Rick Pitino trying to close in on win number 328 at Louisville. It'd be 682 for his 29-year collegiate head coaching career. Largest lead of the night has been 16 for the Cardinals. It came about halfway through the second. UCF was able to get it to single digits at 68-59. Foul on Blair. Since then, Louisville has gotten it back up to 14. You said you'll see UC Irvine and Cal Poly. UC Irvine in that mashup at the top of the Big West standings. Virginia and Pittsburgh tomorrow. ACC Sunday night basketball at a special 12:30 start from Peterson Event Center, and then UCLA in Corvallis to take on Oregon State, coming off a win at Oregon. Montrezl Harrell, 11.7 rebounds tonight. Sykes and Spurlock, last chance for UCF. They both have 4 fouls. They're going to come back into the game with 2:15 to go, hoping for one last push. Have to go back to December 28, 2011 and January 7, 2012. Last time Louisville lost back-to-back conference home games. And those 2 losses were by a combined 5 points, and one of them came in double overtime. It's a tough place to play and a tough place to win. That's why Cincinnati's win was so impressive Thursday.
It was a huge win for the Bearcats, and the way they started the game, I thought it told me everything. They came in here and played with no fear. They went right at the rim. They tried to attack, and then they got better defensively as the game went on. And Mick Cronin, obviously knowing a lot about Rick Pitino and the program and the kind of offense that he likes to run, he's able to match up 4 to 5 guys on a time with anybody else that's on the floor. So they're interchangeable parts defensively for Cincinnati, and that's what makes them so strong. Is it's hard to create mismatches because they all can guard 1 through 5 positions on the floor, basically. Hancock, with the exception of a couple guys.
Sorry about that, Brooke. 11. Luke Hancock picks up his 5th foul, 16 points on the night. 9 of them in the second half. Smith back into the ball game for Louisville. 4 in double figures, including Hancock tonight for the Cardinals. 3 in double figures for UCF. Taking another look at that play. Go back to the monitor to see who a foul was called on and whether or not that can be changed on official review with 1:48 left. So they'll stick it with Hancock. He's done for the night. 1:48 left. This is Brandon Goodwin, first point of the night for the freshman from Norcross, Georgia. Wilson keeps it alive. Casey Wilson, the reverse, will not fall. Sykes the rebound, and he turned it over. Russ Smith, maybe an exclamation point. On a 27-point night. Well, Louisville coming up. They're going to take on James Dickey's Houston Cougars coming up on Wednesday. You'll see that on ESPNU. And then Louisville's going to have a week plus off before they take on Temple. So it'll be about 8 days between games for Louisville. And you said it, that's going to be big this time of year once you hit February.
I remember just feeling like I had no energy at this point in the season, and you're about halfway through the conference games. Your body's tired. Physically, you've gotten beaten up because conference games are so much tougher than playing non-conference games. Nice finish by Harold. Yes, I'll take 2 of those. So strong.
It's a big boy. 6'8", 235. With a couple more years to grow.
Montrezl Harrell, about as athletic as it gets, and once the basketball skill catches up to his athleticism, watch out. You're talking lottery pick.
UC Irvine, Cal Poly, as soon as we're done, we'll take you out west. Blackshear with a very solid game. He's out. Van Treese is done. If you're looking for that Big West showdown right now, it's over on ESPN News. And as soon as we're done, we'll join you on ESPNU. Montrezl Harrell, 14.7 rebounds tonight. David Levitch is into the game for Louisville. As is Anton Gill, the freshman. So Louisville clearing out the bench tonight. UCF is going to have 2 more at home. We'll head back to Orlando after tonight. And a technical foul just got called on Anton, make that Terry Rozier. Freshman just got a call for a technical foul. He had some choice words right in front of Tom O'Neill. Rozier, the freshman, picks up a foul. It was Tim Henderson who got the personal foul, and then in that traffic in the lane after the play while Calvin Newell was lined up at the foul stripe. It seemed like Rozier had leaned in or maybe said something, and that's when I saw Tom O'Neill put up the T sign for the technical foul. So Spurlock will shoot the technicals. So there's Newell at the free throw line. And there's Gill jawing away with it. Or, excuse me, Rozier, my apologies. And Terry Rozier, just a freshman, as we said. I imagine Rick Pitino will have some coaching words for him at some point.
We always know when those guys are talking like that. That's not the first time they've been talking to each other this game. I mean, that's just to cap things off. And we've had a few issues tonight. Spurlock getting into it a bit with Harrell, getting a technical foul.
Montrezl Harrell's night is done. McCoy Agao will check in for Louisville.
The takeaway is if you want to say something, just don't do it by a referee.
Yeah, you got to sneak it in like Brooke used to do in the day.
Yeah, I never started it, but I would talk back. Absolutely.
Newell on the drive. Melvin Newell double figures tonight. 20 from Spurlock, 11 from Casey Wilson, but Isaiah Sykes is going to get held to single figures tonight. That's a rare thing to see for UCF. Rozier to the rim. Little answer right there from the freshman. Shot clock is off. And you wonder if Sykes had a little more production, how much closer this game would have been. UCF trailed by 14 early. They cut it down to 4 at one point in the first half. Trailed by 10 at halftime. Trailed by 16 at one point tonight before they cut it back down to 9. And then Louisville was able to end this ball game on the push. Louisville picking up its 7th conference win, so back by itself in second place. Only 2 teams have 7 or more wins. It's a log jam in the middle for that 3-4-5 slot. UCF's going to drop its 6th consecutive game, all in conference. And the Louisville Cardinals avoid back-to-back home conference losses, and they get a bounce-back win tonight. After a loss on Thursday,